Fruit is one of the most popular subjects in art throughout history and still is today. It's been depicted in art in every inhabited continent within indigenous communities, and it's not limited to Western aesthetics. Welcome to the first episode in a series on how to photograph fruit. In this episode, we'll dive into macro photography with backlighting. This shoot has a very simple setup. Now let's get started. I'm Riley Arthur. This is Platypod TV. I live in Southern California, in a city once known as the lemon capital of the world. My neighborhood used to be mostly lemon groves. At the turn of the last century, you could buy an acre for $300 if you bought a total of 5 acres or more and intended on farming. If only SoCal property were still that cheap. Many people think of citrus as a winter fruit, but different varieties ripen at different times in different climates. So while oranges are ripe in Florida in December, I'm still picking oranges off my trees in July. I grow 7 varieties of fruiting citrus. 4 of them are ripe right now. Taking advantage of my state's citrus heritage, I'm going to show you how to photograph macro citrus with backlighting using fruit from my garden. Let's dive in. Once you've gathered your citrus, cut thin, even slices so light can come through. Cut a few different slices till you get a couple you like. I'll be shooting with my iPhone and using a moment macro lens. For this shoot, you'll need a translucent glass surface. I use glass from an unused picture frame I had around. Tape around the edges of the glass to protect yourself and provide a clear border so you don't accidentally knock it. And be sure to double tape the corners. The glass I use measured 12 by 18 inches. Don't go wider than this unless using a sawhorse or boxes to support the glass. Next, you will need to elevate your glass. I use 2 Platypod Ultra tripods mounted on Platypod goose decks and 2 Platypod grips, topped with Platypod clamps to create a makeshift stand. One of the aspects I love about teaching photography is sharing affordable tricks and cheats for getting quality images without professional equipment. So for this shoot, the only light you'll need will be a cheap clamp lamp. You want to make sure there's a good range of motion so that you can get the arm flat. Clamp lamps are a good solution because many people already have them. Use a high lumen LED light bulb. Position your lamp under the glass. Since LED light bulbs don't get very hot, I used a cloth and garment clips to create a makeshift diffuser for the lamp. But if you aren't using LED light, don't do this. It could be a fire hazard. While shooting, check midway through that the cloth isn't too hot. Mine stayed at room temperature. With macro photography, focal distance is very important. Generally, macro photographers get up closer to their subject. With smartphone photography, the lenses don't yet have zoom capabilities, so they're all compact fixed focal length. Using my moment macro lens, I needed to hover directly above the fruit, and I use a lens hood to both diffuse the light and measure the working distance, which was roughly the length of the lens hood. Move your camera around to find areas of interest in your fruit that you want to photograph at different angles. When shooting backlit, the subjects might be a little bit darker than you're looking for. While you can add a fill light above, you want to be careful with the placement because the fruit is wet. So if you add a fill light directly above, it can reflect off the fruit. I didn't add a fill light. Here are a couple shots before editing, and this is after. As you can see, the original images aren't that underexposed, so they work. But if you want a brighter, higher contrast image, editing can help. And don't sleep on black and white. These images can also look interesting in black and white. You may notice natural bubbles and imperfections in the fruit, and you can either leave them in or take them out. My favorite citrus to photograph was the blood orange, and they were also my favorite images. The color variation reminded me of tie-dye. Smartphone photography has come a long way, proving again that you don't need a fancy camera to get a strong image. This methodology doesn't have to be limited to citrus. It can be used on any thinly sliced fruit. And there you have it. Backlit macro citrus photography, say that 3 times fast, is fun to shoot, but it's not the only way to photograph fruit. For more techniques on fruit photography, stay tuned for a part 2. I hope this video has inspired you to shoot macro fruit. If you do so using Platypod gear, we would love to see your photos. Please tag us on Instagram. Subscribe to our channel for more photography insights and photo tutorials. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It really does help other people find our content. Follow me on Instagram to see more of my work. Until next time, stay creative, happy shooting, and I will catch you in the next frame. Cheers!